Okay, we are back with Lisa Waters Lane in the studio. She comes each with your garden questions. Just what are your neighbors talking about? And oh, is it ever? It's coming in all directions now. So the bugs are out. They arrived this week. We got frost, a few pockets there.
Mhm.
People are wondering what to plant, when to plant, how to plant. And so the garden, this is where it pays to have a great staff
Mhm.
that just knows stuff. And so we have, it's kind of, we're loaded up with plant nerds. They just like plants.
That
And
is true.
half of them are here just for the employee discount. That's it. I don't need to pay. Just, I want to take plants home. And so it's kind of fun to watch them kind of see all the new deliveries that show up. They're more excited than we are
Oh
even. It's
yeah,
kind of fun to watch.
we love delivery day when new stuff comes in.
So we've got lots of deliveries coming, but what are people asking about? What are they talking about?
In their yards and gardens. Well, Tom is in Prescott. He walked out to look at his peach tree because from the window he thought that's looking kind of weird. So he went out and looked at it. He's got aphids galore.
Oh yeah, probably
So
more than aphids. Yeah.
wants to know what's the best thing to treat them for, how often do you have to treat them, that type of thing.
This is where it gets really confusing. If you do a Google search, you will be thoroughly dumbfounded, just like, duh, I don't know what to do, because you'll have, and all of them are wrong. The first thing to kind of delete or ignore, a lot of gardeners will say, oh, just spray the tree down and you'll hose off the aphids and the thrip and all will be well. That is not true. Aphids have wings and they've got legs and they're hungry and they'll crawl right back almost within the hour. And it's as though you did nothing. If you're going to spray them, and I encourage spray, you need a good bug killer. You need to kill the aphids. I would, for a peach tree right now, it's cool enough. The safest, least expensive, most effective you can use right now, it's organic, is a horticultural oil.
Mhm.
You can spray oils. Oils will coat down. It can kind of get through the nooks and crannies of the leaves, the flowers, the fruits, and just penetrates and coats the aphid, and then strips off its exoskeleton, and then it just basically suffocates. And so it's very effective. It takes out the eggs and the aphids adults and the babies. The whole family's gone. And so I would spray it with an oil. Now, once you get up to, now this is broadcast all of northern Arizona. And so we've got some hot pockets. If you're getting above that mid 80 degrees, shift to triple action. It's an organic neem oil that will obliterate thrip and aphids. I predict if you were to bring a sample in a Ziploc baggie here to the garden center, we put it under the microscope, I'll bet we could find both of those bugs. Both are bad. And so what the indication is, you'll see your leaves, go out and look at them. They'll start to curl. They'll kind of deform this way. They should be straight, elongated, flat, just soaking up the sun, making beautiful peaches and nectarines for you, plums. But aphids like any of those pitted fruits, they like them, and the leaves will just start to curl up. And so they're hard to kill because they're inside the leaf where that curl is. And so it's hard to get spray. You really want to get a good hose end sprayer. We can show you what that is. So quantity is more important than quality when it comes to aphids and thrip because there's so many of them.
Right.
Spray it from a couple different angles till it's just dripping wet. Keep the dogs and the birds off until it all dries. It'd be about 15 minutes right now. And then your problems will be solved. There you go. Just easy as that. Actually, we've had to spray a couple times here at the garden center. We're doing the same thing. And we're seeing them, they come right back at you in about 2 weeks because there's so many of them right now. You might have to spray again a little later in the season. So don't be afraid.
It's not a one and done with aphids.
Oh, no.
You kind of really got to be vigilant and keep an eye out for them because they can cause problems.
They won't kill the tree, but they'll definitely affect the fruit. They'll affect the new growth, and they just make for a really ugly tree.
That is true.
Take care of it.
Okay. Our next question is from Sandy out in Chino. So she got some roses from us, our big rose order that came in. So some of the blossoms are starting to fade. Her question is, what's the best way? Is there a certain way to deadhead, or do you just cut that blossom off? Is there a certain way you need to prune on them? And then what is the best fertilizer to keep them blooming?
Ooh, great questions. These are good. Now we could do a whole show on nothing but that one question, but it sort of depends on the variety
Mm-hmm.
of the rose. So most roses are going to be long stem or floribunda roses. These are, or I guess it could be climbing roses, but the most common, floribunda, your traditional shrub roses with big flowers. How do you do that? And so what the book says is when it's done flowering, you count back 3 leaf nodes. So just take 3 leaves coming off the branch and cut it at a 45-degree angle just above the next flower bud, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll instantly start to form a new flower bud. What I find is if you're entering into the county fair and you really want the biggest, most aggressive, most beautiful flower, that's how you do it. Otherwise, you can just prune it however feels right, take the old flower off, and the plant will bloom again for you. I kind of go by 3 nodes. I'll count a little bit, but I'm going for shape more than
Right.
anything else because it gets these real long
Mm-hmm.
canes coming up. Well, now you're out of proportion. And I'll go back 5 nodes or going just whatever makes it look right. And as long as you're fertilizing, it will rebloom for you. So I think there's a lot of fudge factor. Again, the detail, the if you're entering into a international flower show, yeah, maybe you do it differently, but for your backyard, I just want butterflies, hummingbirds, and roses. There's more forgiveness. What to fertilize is more important. So in the ground, right now, what I would probably do now is there's a rose food with systemic. So they have a bug repellent that you can put on while you fertilize, granular. You put it on the ground, water it in, the plant will take in the nutrients, form a new flower, and then it will taint the sap inside that flower so the aphids and thrip don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And so early on in spring, that can really help you out. It's not organic though. So if you want a true natural fertilizer, we make one here at the garden center called all purpose plant food. And that's a cottonseed meal is the number 1 ingredient for that. And cottonseed meal, that's what rosarians put on their flowers to enter them in the fair, because that's what brings the flower color out and the fragrance.
Right.
So cottonseed meal is a great one. So all purpose plant food, if you want to keep all natural, or, sometimes you just want to get rid of the bugs, rose food, and it says with systemic. You want to see that on that, it'll be granular. You sprinkle it on, water it in, and both of those will fertilize that rose for a couple months, something like that, and reapply.
Okay. I think we got time for another
Yeah, I
quick
think so.
one. So Paul is in Prescott Valley. He's looking for a ground cover that will cover about 100 square feet on a slope that is hot
Ooh.
and dry.
That's easy. So slopes, you're probably going to be watering with a drip system, because otherwise, if you're doing heavy flow, it's going to erode you'll have, erosion issues.
Right.
So juniper, cottonwood, or cotoneaster. We've got a ground cover manzanita, vines like Virginia creeper, Boston ivy, even a really fast, aggressive evergreen is 5-leaf akebia, honeysuckle. That's what Paul. Drive in here from Prescott Valley, get your behind here. We'll give you the grand tour, and we'll show you probably 5 or 6 different things. But you really do want to get them in now so they've got time to root,
right?
Because the monsoons are coming. I mean, we don't know how much rain's coming.
Lots.
Well, I just hope so. That'd be awesome. But we are going to get a wet cycle in the summer here. And so if you can get them rooted before that summer rain in July and August show up, it's got some roots and it'll hold that ground in for you. Otherwise, you're just going to have these big ruts going through there.
Right.
So I would say start with honeysuckle and go from there.
Okay.
Cover it. Ken and Lisa Lane, the Mountain Gardeners. We'll be right back after this.